Good day, fellow champions of inclusion. I'm A. Ron, and this is the Inclusive Dad Podcast, where we explore inclusion and make it practical. Today, my guest is Anthony Cutno. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning. Good morning.
Where are you at today?
Right now, I am in New Orleans, Louisiana, which is where I'm from. I'm in my old house. I grew up in the neighborhood. Man, this is where I'm at.
Awesome. Good to have you on this morning. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Name is Anthony Cutno, as you can obviously see, and I am from New Orleans, Louisiana. Retired Marine, single father of three beautiful children. My little girl, my youngest, who's 5, she's nonverbal, and she's just taking me on this little journey of learning about something that I never even knew existed. Living life, motivational, inspirational speaker, now a published author, and got another book coming out next month.
Awesome. Sounds like you're busy.
Yes, yes.
In your bio that you submitted, it says that I'll just read the first part. It said, "I died and was born on October 22nd, 1983, in New Orleans." What do you mean by
Yeah.
you died and were born?
During my actual birth, my mother was having a C-section because she wasn't supposed to have kids in general at all, and I'm the third boy. The
Okay.
other two, unfortunately, they didn't make it, and so they were doing the C-section, and she woke up during the C-section, and because of her medical issue that she already had, it compounded. Boom, me and her both died, and or the doctors were bringing her back. They brought her back, but I was still dead. And when I died, all I could hear was screaming and yelling, and all I saw was darkness and black. And years later, when she hit me on my 40th birthday, my mom and dad, they actually confirmed that this actually happened. And so I was like, why when the doctors brought her back, but I was still dead, and then I boom, just came back to life, and then they went on ahead and did what they did, and I was born.
Hmm. Did you just say that your mom and dad didn't tell you that that happened until you were 40? Is that what you said?
Because around the same time I had an actual Holy Ghost spiritual awakening moment. So I was going down that path, and then I asked, and it was like, yeah, my dad said he was outside the emergency because of the type of birth it was, and he was trying to get in, and security was keeping him out. And my mom was like, the screaming that you probably heard was all the doctors and my dad outside the room trying to get in, and he wouldn't let him in. And she just confirmed that actually happened.
Wow. Crazy. Yeah, each of us is unique and has their own set of beliefs, values, and experiences that shape us. What is your definition of inclusion?
Is that everyone is at least listened to, seen, they have a chance to express themselves, be themselves, and everything between, without forcing that on other people. And to me, that's the definition of inclusion. Everyone is included without being forced to. Just because you don't agree with the belief doesn't mean there's a bad person. It's that we're all individuals and we all should be included.
Awesome. I love that. It's a great definition. Was there any time in your life when you felt like you were excluded or segregated or kind of pushed to the side?
Um, Throughout growing up, no. When it comes to family issues, yes. But I think that goes for every single person. But in the grand big scheme of things, I can honestly truly say I've never experienced that. Never have,
Okay.
even with the whole black and white thing. I've never experienced
Well, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, right?
it. Yeah.
When you think, when you kind of think back over the years, can you think of any times where you like felt included or just felt like you were somewhere that you truly belonged?
Yeah, yeah. The Marine Corps actually. The Marine Corps. I can honestly say the Marine Corps actually, like, it wasn't, peachy creamy, perfect and all that stuff, but yeah, like we been in the Air Force before the Marine Corps and getting kicked out the Air Force and then going straight into the Marine Corps right after. Like it just felt right, and I can honestly say that my entire 14, 15 years in the Marine Corps, like I've enjoyed it. It wasn't getting peachy clean, but I enjoyed what I was doing. I really did like it. So
That's
yeah, it
awesome.
was
So
the Marine Corps, and then yeah, that was it.
that's awesome. So yeah, you just sounds like. I mean, you're probably old enough too, like the old show Cheers on TV, where everybody knows your name and they're glad you
Yeah,
came. That's kind.
yeah.
So you and I are both old enough for that, but younger people probably have no idea what I'm talking about right now. But yeah,
But
I mean,
I can say that like that's how it is because guys I went to boot camp with two kids that I put into the Marine Corps as a recruiter. They
right.
they both got out, but they still keep in touch with me and stuff like that. It yeah, I can say it was the Marine Corps that did it for me. It totally changed everything.
That's awesome. So you said your daughter is nonverbal, and you also I think said that you didn't have any experience with um disabilities or stuff like that before. Is that what you said?
Right, all right. Like, so my little girl, she's nonverbal, like, and she knows like the signs. So whatever she has issues saying, she does a little sign for it, and that's how I'm learning because her way her
Yep.
fingers are, I'm trying to learn. But other than that, she says like, "Daddy, I'm hungry," but she's like, you can tell, she's doing. It
Right.
doesn't bother her at all. She has no issues with it, nothing
Sure.
like that. And closest I came to it was ex that I did. Her son, he was an adult. He was like 20 something. He had real bad seizures and stuff like
Okay.
that. And he was
Yep.
special needs, a kid
Right.
growing up an adult. But that's the closest I came to it. But he actually got me ready for actually learning about it because I started really because of him, and then my little girl came along.
Right. So that's I mean, from in my story was I didn't really I don't remember anybody with the disability or talking about anything growing up. So when my daughter was born, that was my first exposure. So you sounds like you had a little bit at least, which is. Do you think that helped? You said that helped you with your daughter then?
Yeah, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did help because it actually, because I started like reading and researching. My little girl
Yep.
came years later, but it did help because the close I get disability I came through, like older people in your family they have seizures and now they're dealing with the
Yep.
consequences of the seizures and that type of stuff. But as far as like just straight disability, no, I never have.
Yeah.
And yeah, he
Right.
came. It was good.
Yeah. So yeah, my daughter also has seizures or epilepsy. So I mean, I've been around those her whole life as well. And I mean, we just talked about where you felt really included. For me, it was we did a lot of stuff with the Epilepsy Foundation of Minnesota. So it was being in a spot where other families are in the same situation as us. So
Mm,
look, I remember going to events that they held for the families and just walking into the room. You don't even have to like tell your story because everybody knows why you're there. I mean, that was nice for me because I was used to like every time you go to a doctor or a therapist or anybody, they want to hear the story, so you keep having to tell the story over and over again. So it's nice to have a place where
mm-hmm.
you can just show up, be yourself, enjoy time with other people, and not have to explain all the stuff that you're
Yeah.
used to explaining.
Yeah, I have to move to set the phone really
That's
cool to
that's all good.
it.
So I mean, obviously, you and we're both dads. So can you maybe, from like a dad's perspective, tell me a little bit like how having a child that's been diagnosed with a disability, how you process that, how it made you feel, kind of thing.
First hearing about it, I didn't get it. I was like, what is it? But seeing her dealing with it, and unfortunately now, myself, I have seizures and epilepsy and stuff like that. It's like, she ain't seeing how
Yeah, it's working. Go ahead.
Right. So seeing her how she's naturally just coping with her disability, like I honestly truly think she doesn't even realize that she has a disability. You know, I take her to the park. She plays with other kids. She has friends. She socializes. You know, she's smart. She's learning. You know, she can count to 20 already. You know, she's smart. So seeing her, watching her deal with it, and then like with me being the diagnosed with seizure and epilepsy now, and having to deal with it myself, she's my motivation. She's my why. I'm like, me and her doing this together, and so she just watching her is helping me deal with it and learn, and how how she is with her brother. I have a 9-year-old son. How she is with him, and he naturally, takes care of her, watches her, and she goes to him like it. Yeah, I was just watching her. I'm like, it is what it is. She accepts it. That's her, and
Yeah.
we're gonna keep on moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me that you're saying that you don't think she realizes that she has a disability. That's interesting because I kind of felt the same way for sure when my daughter was younger, and even kind of still now. Like I feel like it kind of helps. I don't know if it's a filter or just like I feel like as adults we get, as kids we just get along with people and blah, we just have fun and don't. Then all of a sudden you start growing up and then you hear these things, or you're told things that stuff isn't safe or this is, these things, and it seems like we get to a point when we get older where we just kind of forget about the fun stuff, forget about living in the moment and those kind of things. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of an interesting, kind of prompted that with me is just sometimes when, especially when I was at church with my daughter when she was younger, and she would just love to sing the songs, and you just look over and it's like, wow, she's truly purely worshiping right now, and um, I think kind of a cool thing. Just seeing that in her makes me realize, what is important, what should I be focusing on as a dad. So
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. And not having to, constantly, do that. Actually, I've never even had to. Yeah, I never even had to. She just deals with it, and we just go along with it, whatever we're doing.
right.
You know, yeah,
So
and I like
so
it. I love it.
yeah. Another thing that kind of I think you when you were talking came into my mind is I feel like the kids get, I mean, just don't like I probably talked about a little bit, but just kids just don't overcomplicate things. Like, hey, he's a kid, he's my age, let's go. We're outside playing, let's just play together. Whereas, and
Mm-hmm.
they, you kind of there's rules there, you follow them, but you kind of push stuff, and you kind of try to expand your horizon, and you push up against something. And I'm not going to do that again. But as adults, we just overcomplicate things, put in rules that, I mean, why are they even there? So do you kind of feel the same way? Whereas kids, especially around your daughter, just she's a kid, they're a kid, just don't
Mm-hmm.
see those things, don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, yeah. For me, is and of course, to say it's her mom. It's her mom. Her mom is real protective and stuff like that. Like she's the one that actually does it. But she goes with her to appointments and all that stuff like
Yep.
that. But when it comes to that, it's her mom. But however, I do like now her mom is seeing that she's real comfortable, she's relaxed. She's like I say to me, she don't even realize that anything is wrong with her. Now her
Yep.
mom, who knows more and more, she's taking violin lessons. She has
Okay.
friends. So
Yep.
she's getting better at it with it now. My little girl, they say she plays the violin. It's like
Right.
the little finger thing, but she says what
Yeah.
she says. She's comfortable. She's a little 5-year old, pretty little daddy's girl. That's what she
Yep.
is.
Yep. She probably can get you to buy her whatever she wants to, right? Just has to look
And
at you.
she knows it. And she knows it. And she knows it. Yeah.
That's kind of our weakness as dads of daughters, especially.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
And she's the youngest of all brothers. She got all
oh, okay.
brothers. So,
So yeah,
yeah.
she gets spoiled everywhere, probably, huh?
She does. She
She
does.
does, yeah. Something that I've heard before is, I mean, I don't know if it's just from other dads, but like, how do you? There's no. I mean, how do you do? How do you live that life? How do you deal with all that stuff? There's no way I could do it. And to me, it was always like, I mean, it's my daughter, it's my child. Like, of course I'm going to step up to the plate. So how do you feel about?
Mm,
Have you ever had anybody say something to you like that? I mean, I don't even know how you could do that. And then, like, how do you
nah,
respond?
I can. I don't know if my story is unique or rare, but no, I'm not nothing.
Right.
Everyone acts like it doesn't even exist, and
Right.
and now that she's getting better at talking because we were constantly talking to her and
Yeah.
all that type of stuff, and we actually when she talking and you can't get the whole word, we actually repeat it. So what do you want? What did
Right.
you say? And she goes back and forth with it, and so and I'm blessed that I served in the Marine Corps, so I have the resources along with
Okay.
her mom. I don't have her own resources, so have all that. But like I said, to me, is she's a normal 5-year-old daddy's princess, daddy's girl. Like she makes it so easy because if I had to, I couldn't deal with it. Like I'll be in tears every day. I'd be scared to take her anywhere. It was like that.
Right.
That's just me. I want my baby to be like that. But it's been good. It's been good. I haven't had those issues. Now, if any did come up, and her mom just literally didn't tell me. I have no clue. But when me and her are together and we go places and around family and friends and all of that, there's no
Right.
issue. Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. I mean, in my experience being a dad and a guy, I mean, I just, I mean, guys, at least the guys I hang around with, we just don't talk about things like this with each other. So I don't have a lot of experience talking with other dads, really about things. I don't know, I just kind of push it away and, kind of don't talk about the being a dad, having a child
Mm.
that with a disability. So, I mean, have you had other guys to hang out with and talk about this stuff with, or do you have
Yeah,
trouble
my
finding other dads like with kids with disabilities to connect with?
actually, Anna, you're the only other dad that I
Okay.
know. But as far as like all my other friends and stuff like that, no,
Yeah.
none. Like, it. She's makes it so easy on everybody else. That's
Right.
the that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. She
Right.
makes it so easy, and then like I say, my son, he's 9, and when he's with her, there's like two peas in the pot. They always together
Right.
around. So like again, it's her.
Right.
She makes it easy. And then
Yeah.
that's the I think that's the biggest key. But then also too, she doesn't have like those visible disabilities. So
Yeah. True. Yeah.
it was obvious when she doesn't have that. So most people look at her, they can't even tell until
Right.
she starts talking. But she it's her. It's,
Right. For
it,
sure.
it's her. It's her. She makes everything better.
Yeah. So I'm the only person, other dad, with a child with a disability. I mean, I know other few. I know a few others besides you, but yeah, it's just thinking about it. I mean, just guys, just we just don't talk about that stuff. Like, I mean, you and I were at an event in May in person, and I mean, I know you, so we probably talked a little bit about it. Otherwise, if you're around guys, you're talking sports, you're talking other things. Why do you think like
hmm
guys just don't? Why do we not talk about that stuff with each other?
mm, I think it's because it is once we get to that point, because we're gonna go through the emotions and but never did because I didn't really
Right.
understand it. And again, she made everything
Yep.
so easy for me. But I think it's just that we're the providers, protectors. We try and fix things and make things easier and find solutions and stuff like that.
Right.
And we're actually built to deal with our emotions and differently than. So I
For
think
sure.
that's what it is. And then once we do find other dads, that safe space, as you want to say it,
Yeah.
It makes it easier to deal with, especially again if our kids get along. That's it
Right.
right there.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, it makes sense. It's just I was kind of like, there's certain things we always go to, like sports, work. What do you do for fun? I mean, you kind of go down that list of this is how we introduce
Hmm.
ourselves and get to know each other. But yeah, that's for
Yeah.
sure. What is what is she? What's her favorite thing to do? Does she like to go swimming, or what does she like to do?
Oh, her favorite thing is Gabby Dollhouse. She likes to watch
Okay.
Gabby Dollhouse, and it's a game. It's a little drawing game that she likes to play. But she's to me and her a regular 5-year-old girl. She's a literally a girly girl. She likes pink. She likes
Yep.
unicorns. She's a little girl. So
Yeah.
we do all the girly things.
Yeah.
Like when she's at the playground playing and stuff, she don't like to be dirty. Like she's a
Yeah.
typical
For
girly
sure.
girl. She sees me, she likes up, daddy, daddy.
Yeah.
I like to pick her up. She likes to be spoiled. Like yeah,
Well, my daughter's older, so she's in the I think all boys are cute stage. So just wait till she gets older, and now you have to deal
well,
with
I'm
boys
not
too.
ready for that. Yeah, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Tell me a little bit about. I know you speak, an inspirational speaker and a writer. Like, tell me a little bit more about when you talk. Like, what do you talk about? What would be a good audience for you? That type of stuff.
Yeah, me mostly talk about motivating stuff. My life specifically. That's where I get everything from. Because I'm blessed to have lived a very unique, unconventional life, and my target audience is like men, other men of all backgrounds, all men veterans. Because I'm a disabled veteran myself. And just fathers, men in general, and just talk about motivating life, spirituality, how that ties into everything. I use my trials and tribulations that I've been through, my multiple deaths. Every now and then I hit on some things I did in the Marine Corps, but I try and stay away from that because that can be a touchy subject. And then
Right.
I just go with that, and then I talk about my kids and how they saved me. They don't even realize my kids saved my life multiple times. And I talk about everything. I talk about me. I am literally a open book, like all the
Yeah.
way. Pages are open. I speak on
That's awesome.
it.
That's
Yeah.
great. I've given two TEDx talks, and the second one, this time I'm talking more about like how we can use empathy, to make the world more inclusive. How do you think we can use like empathy, getting to know others, to make the world more inclusive?
That makes everything better. And empathy is natural. It's a part of life. And if you can't feel bad or want to help or trying to assist your fellow man, woman, child, or whatever, then literally something is wrong with you because someone has done it to you. And you
Right.
know it, don't know it. You want someone to be there for you, and you're going through it. So me is vital. It's a vital part of humanity. Like where we didn't talk, and when you said what you said, if I didn't have empathy, like and that I couldn't relate. If we wouldn't have met, we wouldn't be doing what
Yep.
we're doing now. So it plays a part in it's a human connection. If I didn't understand empathy, I wouldn't feel it for my little girl. When she come in my
Yep.
arm, say, pick me up. I wouldn't feel that. She want to give me a hug and cuddle while we watching
Right.
Gabby Dollhouse and stuff. Empathy is a natural human emotion, and to
Yep.
not act on it to me is a choice. And
Right.
you are a bad person if you choose that.
Yeah. I mean, because we just need to get out and meet each other. I mean, you and I met obviously. Maybe it's because we're both bald that we get along pretty good. We don't have hair on top up here. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just can't. I mean, obviously, you and I have light skin. You have white and black skin. I mean, we look different in that way. But I mean, when I look at you, I don't see the differences. I mean, we're both human. We both have daughters with disabilities. I mean, I try to look for the things we have in common more. I mean, that's just. I have two, well, multiple tattoos. One of them says inclusion. The other one says love thy neighbor. Because I went to church growing up, and I just feel like if everybody loved our neighbors like we're supposed to, the world would be a much better place.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's like I've seen it getting all around the world. I've seen people go on empathy. I've seen people choose not to be empathetic
Yep.
of people's situations and whatever. Like, the Lord, He was empathetic with us. And that's the biggest sign of empathy right there, and how important it is. He was empathetic for us, so we wouldn't be
Right.
around if it wasn't for that alone.
Yeah. Another thing I like to talk about in each of my shows is just personal responsibility for inclusion. So through a lot of my journey, I would bring stuff up for school to be more inclusive for my daughter, and they would have different views or would say no, and I'd get upset with them. Then I kind of switched to like, well, that's not a good use of my energy. I mean, I shouldn't look at as inclusion as something other people have to do for my daughter. I should try to make the world more inclusive myself. So try to find those little things that you can do. You don't have to go to a class or pay money. There's simple things that each one of us can do to make the world more inclusive. Can you share with the listeners like one
Mhm.
one tip or one way you think that simple thing we can do to make the world more inclusive?
Just say hi.
Right.
Just say hi. That's it. Just say hi. If you see someone that you don't know, just say hi. It's just simple as that. The word hi, hello, how you doing? Like that
Right.
can start a whole conversation, and that's another sign of empathy. Being kinder to your nicer man, inclusion, loving thy neighbor. Just say hi. If the person keep walking, don't hold it against them. Just keep moving to the next person. Say hi.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
it. That's it. That's it.
It's like I said earlier, us adults we overcomplicate things. Like, hey, we need to have a
Hmm.
program. We need to have this 12-step program to make our organization more inclusive. You heard it here. Anthony just says, say hi, start there. So, but I agree. It's like we just overcomplicate things. We want it to be
Hmm.
complicated and all this stuff, where it's just like open the door for somebody at the grocery store so they can come through. Just
Hmm. See, that's my favorite. Wait,
there you
man.
go.
Wait, man. Yeah.
It's all good, man. Is there anything else that you want to share or talk about that we haven't talked about today?
Um. So I think we pretty much everything talked about parents and the
Yep,
Lord. We talking about everything,
talked about
and
everything.
just be kinder, like you say, like you said, love thy neighbors. That's it. Like
Right.
the world can be so like world can be so much better if we just start off with a conversation.
Yep, for
That's
sure.
it. And understand that everyone is different. Like, we're not
Yep.
going to always agree. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Plus,
Uh,
if we were all the
yeah.
same, then it wouldn't be fun either. It'd be boring. So,
Mhm.
I got one more question I ask all my guests before you leave here. So, do you eat
Mm,
spam? Yes or no?
I do. I like it on
You do.
fire.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I grew up. I'm 40 years old. I grew up with
You grew up on spam, yeah.
spam sandwiches, spam eggs.
Well,
Yeah.
it's been great talking with you today. Thanks for being on my podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. Hey, you have a nice